Did you ever wonder how I got this player? Maybe how I signed this player? Are you curious to know where this player came from? Maybe this guy meets your fancy, tickles your fancy? Well, do I have the trick for you? It's a magical idea that innovates the entire way you approach transfers. It's black magic that you have to spend years studying to be able to cast, that you need to understand the ways of, or its power can explode you! Or at least ruin your FM save. Hey, what's up? We're doing a little black magic today. Don't use that. We're going to come up with a cooler intro. Anyways, we are going to talk about some of scouting's black magic today. This is a trick that is incredibly advanced and is going to help you sign some of the best players in the world to advance your club and beat everybody else to it. A trick that is essentially something I have never recommended before, but I've realized when we went over the way that my team had been built, the team that I'm currently playing with in the Portuguese First Division. The link is down in the description. You can watch on Twitch, or you can check out the live channel and watch there. We have each stream cut into 30-minute episodes by Gadget, who's our lovely stream editor. Normally, I'm much more sneaky with that. Anyways, that's where this is all happening. We went over the way the teams were being built, and we scrolled through all of the players, and we said, look, where did all of these guys come from? And I realized that I emphasize a certain collection of ideals, right? We need to scout everywhere. We need to wire the world, right? That's SOS. That's the only thing I know. You need to thoroughly scout everybody that you are about to sign, and you need to not hoard, right? We have guiding principles that we have formed together. This is going to break one of those flagrantly because it's been a key part to the way that we've built our team. Hold on. Guys, my roommate just got her job, so super good for her. This is mine, so we should probably get back to talking about this. But there's this quote in the movie The Big Short where they're trying to... The movie's essentially about the people that shorted the housing market before it crashed in 2008. I would recommend it. It's pretty entertaining. Steve Carell plays a serious role, which took me about half the movie to get over. But then the second half of the movie, it was pretty good. But he says, I'm not wrong. I was just early. And then the other guy goes, well, that's the same thing, Bob. And so timing is everything. And here's an example. There was a player that we found in Colombia because I scout Colombia religiously. I mean, it is my religion. And we found a guy who we realized immediately was very good. The issue is that we waited to finish scouting him, and Manchester City got him in the next transfer window for $975,000. Right, and now even though he's flopped with them and had none of the potential that both Manchester City and I thought he had, right, he was somebody that we would have made a massive profit on anyways, and they're going to make a massive profit on, because even though he has become probably the worst version that he could have possibly become, he's valued at $20 million, has taken the field for Manchester City 8 times. There's even a better example of this on Paris Saint-Germain. Not only do they have Wilker Fariñas, he's an FM god. Saint. There are only one FM set of gods. It's a complicated religion. They also have a guy named Siabanga Mofoking. And yes, you're thinking, wow, that name is too good to be true. That's what we thought when we were scouting him. We scouted him. We found him before PSG even knew the name Siabanga Mofoking. And we spent a year trying to get a final scouting report on him. We were really lackadaisical about it. And PSG swooped in and signed the freaking guy. And we lost out on him, even though we knew he was great. And now he's playing at PSG's worth freaking $40 million. What did they sign him for? Oh God, that hurts. So the dark art that I'm about to recommend to you is like learning the dark side of the force. We're going to talk about signing players before you know how good they are and how it can really help your team. There was a huge disclaimer on this because if you do this wrong, you will screw yourself. I mean, this is like handling some sort of radioactive material. If you do it right, you get a lot of energy out of it. If you don't, they make a TV show about how you almost blew up the world. Because in a couple of instances, we got it right. And we ended up signing people that have made a huge difference on our team because we got ahead of the curve and we signed them before we knew exactly how good they were. So when should you do this? Let's start with Jose Almeida, who is the luckiest one that we have acquired. We signed him at the age of 16 for $93,000. Jose Almeida is the biggest, like, Steph. I guess for you, it'd be more like Brony. Went in. Whew, that's enough for the week. We just took a shot from serious distance, and this is the farthest out tier that you're going to want to see. We got 3 scouting reports in from players, and Jose Almeida being 16 years old. We were a team that was mid-table in Liga NOS, and we saw that he had 5-star potential, and he was only 93,000. The majority of the time, that will be a bust. The potential read is wrong from the scout because you haven't gotten to, when you look at this little scouting thing, you have like 24%, and it says, well, he could have 5-star potential. You go in and you just go sign that person. I wouldn't want to do that here because 2.3 to 4.5 million, it's obviously, that's a significant portion of my transfer budget. Now, 93,000, even a couple of years ago, that's really a negligible amount of money. That's the sort of money we get from like a big home game in terms of gate receipts. And so 93,000, it was worth taking a stab. Somebody that had a potential to have that 5-star potential ability, and then it actually hit. That's kind of nuts, but it just goes to show that on the transfer market, when you get that opportunity and you go, well, shoot, like we don't know for sure, but it could be there and the cost is minimal, you get onto your slide scale, all right? I want you to imagine a scale, and on one end of the scale is cost, and on the other end of the scale is like confirmed ability. And the confirmed ability is pretty freaking low, but the cost is also pretty freaking low. And there is the potential there somewhere on this side for it to be great. And so then we go in and make that offer. Like this guy, Jason Cerna, came in the same way. We had, 2 to 3-star current ability, and we had 4 to 5-star potential ability. We got him on an end of contract and paid $23,000 to get him through that end of contract. Did we know exactly how good he was? No, but I don't want to let somebody like this sit around. I don't want to let Almeida sit around. I don't want to let Jason Cerna sit around so that bigger clubs with deeper pockets and much larger reputations can come find these guys. If I've got them first, and especially if you get this little wanted tag on them and you're scouting them and they've got that little wanted tag on them, you want to get that offer in as early as possible. Now, it is possible that when you make that offer on somebody that's got that dreaded wanted tag, well, then the agent could make it public, especially if the player's really ambitious, and then the other teams could be encouraged to offer. You could kick off the bidding. That's actually what happened with Siabonga Mofoking for us. Jason Cerna was somebody that we got like that too, and Boys and Philander was also in the same bracket, but this is a bit more of a significant amount of money. And this is a different piece of the black magic. You should not invest an amount of money that is prohibitive on these types of players. But taking a swing, and that's generally what I call it, you're swinging in the dark. You don't know if you're going to hit here, but you could hit. If you miss small. If you hit big. The answer is yes to both of those. You're probably making the right decision. Worst case scenario, you bring these guys in, you loan them out for a couple of years, and that's fine. Boys and Philander, we signed at the age of 16 for $300,000. We'd scouted him, and we went, okay. It looked the initial 1-week scouting report, and he still had 5-star potential in his range, and he was 16 years old. 300,000. He had pretty decent current ability from what we could tell, and we put it down on the table. That's a bit on the high end, and you add in the fact that he was 16 and he's not in the European Union, which means he has to wait until he's 18 to move to the club. It's a 2-year throw in the dark investment. And if you'll notice while you're watching on stream, I usually always have 1 or 2 of these. I've got Benny Sheeman. I don't even remember what this guy's potential is, right? But we've thrown in for him because that one was free. Or Devin Zulu, who we've only got 70% scouted, but we're looking at and looks like this, and much the same as Boys and Philander, we've thrown down 625,000, which now is don't quote me on this, like 155th of our transfer budget or something like that. And so it's worth it for us to throw that money down on a guy that could potentially be great. That's what we did on Boys and Philander, and he ended up being great. But I cannot stress this enough. It's something that you should be comfortable with and you should try. because we won the race to these players because we wired the world and then we found them first. But if we devote the time, especially with, when you look at my scouting priorities, I mean, I've got 170 guys that are working on scouting right now, and that's the lowest it's been in years. It is backed up. And sometimes getting full knowledge on a player that they don't know a lot about can take months. Lots of months, like one transfer window to the next, months. Sometimes that's time that you feel like you don't have. There's a couple of things I want you to remember though. Never bankrupt yourself with this. You should never bet the farm, the mortgage, a significant portion of your budget on this strategy. This is a gravy on top. This is a whipped cream and a cherry on top. This is not a stable diet. This is the ice cream after the meal. If you're lactose intolerant, I don't know what you eat. Honey. On a spoon. Second, don't become obsessed with this. I don't take swings on players that don't have that full 5-star potential in their range. If you see those guys that could go, well, it's 2 to 4, that's generally not worth it unless the value is like literally 0. Why? Because that range averages out to 3-star potential, which is not going to do anything for you, especially if your club's going like this. That dude's just going to keep sliding down. You don't want somebody with this star distribution as the mean of your gamble. You want somebody whose potential range is higher than that. You're anticipating growth in your club unless you're one of the biggest clubs in the world. You don't need that. You don't need that right now. You're not going to need that guy 3 years from now. No offense, Bruno. You've been a great vice captain. I just hope Bruno doesn't watch this video. But this is officially your stamp of approval. You can sign people without completing the scouting on them, because oftentimes that is the only way to avoid the tragic fate of being just a little too late. And it's a very good way to snake a couple of great players, and it often makes great stories. I have also had busts, but to be perfectly honest, and I'm still investigating this, I have had some pretty gargantuan busts that I scouted fully as well. As long as it looks like it could be a boom and the value's there, make your move. And let me know what amazing players you end up acquiring with this piece of magic. Now I'm going to disappear. Until next time.